want to give a little framework for workers' comp. There's a lot of confusion about how workers' comp works as far as active care, is my case closed, what happens next. So I created this framework a few years ago, and I feel like it's really helpful. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph out over time, so this is time, what happens, okay? So on day 0, this is day 0, you're at 100%, meaning you are a functional human being doing all the things that you like to do. And then on day 1, you have an injury. So you're going to be some percentage less than you were at the time that you got hurt, whether it was your back or your neck or you got your finger chopped off, whatever it was. You're now less percentage function that you were before. And then over the course of time, you're going to get better. So time, anti-inflammatories, physical therapy, treatment, surgery, whatever the treatment is, the treatment algorithm is, you're going to get better. And you're going to slowly approach that back to the 100%. At some point, you're going to level off, and you're not going to get a whole lot better. And that's the visits where you come in and you tell your doc, how are you doing? About the same. How are you doing? About the same. If you're staying about the same for some period of time, you've kind of leveled off, you've plateaued. And that cross point where you plateau, there's a name for that, and that's called MMI. And MMI stands for Maximum Medical Improvement. That's the point at which we don't think you're going to be making any significant more functional gain. It doesn't mean there's still not a hope that you can heal or you can get better, but realistically, that's kind of the level off point. And if that point's less than 100%, that means you've had some loss. And that percentage loss is called the impairment rating. And it's rated as a percent. And it's a big tabulation of a book where we look up the diagnosis, we calculate it, there's big tables, and it comes up with a percentage. So if you lost your arm in an industrial injury, that's some percentage of you that's no longer there as a result of a work injury. And typically there's a compensation that occurs with that. There's some sort of a compensation that occurs with that usually. Now, everything before MMI is called active care. And everything after MMI is called supportive care. Okay, so what is active care? Active care is we're kind of trying to cure you. We're trying to make you all better. We're trying to get you back to that 100% as best we can. Supportive care, then, is more maintenance. So what do we need to do to maintain that line where it's at and not let it fall? Okay, so active, the sky's the limit. Surgery, therapy, bracing, meds, injections, all of it is under active care. Supportive care allows an insurance company to set aside a certain amount of money for you in a box, put a little bow on it, and call it yours. That's your money now that you get for your care. So from a cost perspective, it makes sense for an insurance company to get you off of active care and over to supportive care. Within that supportive care, again, you can do whatever you want. You could have physical therapy, you could have meds, you could have visits, you could have injections, you could have imaging, whatever the case may be. But that package now has a dollar amount attached to it, and you get that dollar amount. You get nothing less than that, and you get nothing more than that. Okay, so whatever is delineated in your supportive care award, you want to make sure you got all that covered because you can't get anything more than what is in your supportive care. So how long does supportive care last? You get it for the rest of your life? Well, not exactly. It used to be you would just say supportive care indefinitely for life. Now under law, we have to put a time limit on it. So if you had significant injury that required multiple specialists to see you in multiple areas of the body that were injured, we will typically put supportive care at a maximum of about 3 years with an option to renew it every 3 years if you need it. Most people, though, if they hurt their back, they get some injections, they get some physical therapy, they get strong again, they get back to work, it's going to be a year or less. okay? Then what happens if they injure themselves in more than a year, in 2 years or 3 years? It would be a new case and a new injury filed for that date, even if it was something that happened in the past. All right, so that's the basic framework. There's obviously a lot more questions that go into that about pre-existing and contributory causes and what's the majority and what's the less and all that sort of thing. But I just wanted to give that framework for how workers' comp kind of sees the world and sees how that plays out.